Welcome to the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support me.
The moon hung low over Eldoria, its silvery light weaving through the intricate lattice of cobblestone streets and ancient stone buildings. Tall spires pierced the night sky, their windows aglow with the warm, flickering hues of lanterns that dotted the cityscape. Despite the serene beauty of the night, an undercurrent of tension thrummed through the air, a silent acknowledgement of the unseen forces that governed the realm. At the heart of Eldoria stood the imposing edifice of the Shadow Council's headquarters, a structure that exuded both majesty and foreboding. Its architecture was a testament to the mastery of shadow magic, with walls that seemed to absorb light and corridors that twisted unnaturally, defying conventional geometry. The very essence of darkness infused the building, making it a symbol of the Council's enigmatic and omnipotent power. Inside the grand chamber, dimly lit by floating orbs of shadow light that cast an eerie luminescence over the polished obsidian floors, Victoria stood as the embodiment of authority, clad in flowing robes of midnight blue, embroidered with silver threads that shimmered like starlight. She exuded a presence that was both captivating and intimidating. Her eyes, sharp and calculating, surveyed the gathered council members with an intensity that brooked no dissent. Victoria was a high-ranking member of the Shadow Council, renowned for her unparalleled mastery of shadow magic. Her reputation was one of both respect and fear. She was known to manipulate darkness with precision, weaving intricate spells that could alter perceptions, influence minds, and even command the shadows themselves to do her bidding. Her loyalty to the council was unwavering, driven by a belief in humanity's destined dominance over the other races. Tonight, the council convened to address the growing unrest among the neighboring races of elves, dwarves, and others who had long been subjects under the subtle yet absolute control of the Shadow Council. Whispers of rebellion and strange occurrences had begun to surface, threatening the delicate balance the council had meticulously maintained. Victoria was determined to quash any threats and reaffirm human supremacy. Across the city, in the Elven Quarter, Ares moved with purpose through the narrow alleys illuminated by bioluminescent flora. Her keen eyes missed nothing as she navigated the labyrinthine paths, her senses finely attuned to the slightest hint of movement or magic. Ares was a detective of unparalleled skill, renowned among her people for her exceptional abilities in stealth and investigation. Her reputation for uncovering truths that others could not made her a valuable asset in times of uncertainty. Ares had been assigned a perplexing case, a series of mysterious disappearances that had left the elven community on edge. The victims, all prominent figures within their society, had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only whispers of dark magic and shadowy figures. Determined to uncover the truth, Ares delved deeper into the investigation, her instincts guiding her toward a truth that few dared to acknowledge: the existence of the Shadow Council. Her journey led her to the outskirts of Eldoria, where she encountered Blake, a grizzled dwarf warrior whose once loyal service to the Shadow Council had been marred by betrayal. Blake's rugged exterior and battle-worn armor spoke of countless conflicts, his eyes hardened by experiences that had left him disillusioned with the very council he once served. Despite his rough demeanor, there was a flicker of hope within him, a desire for redemption that aligned with Ares' quest for truth. Blake revealed that the council controlled not only the political affairs of each race but also key resources and trade routes through shadow manipulation. Their influence was insidious, extending beyond mere governance to the very essence of magic that sustained their dominance. Together, Ares and Blake uncovered fragments of information pointing toward the Shadow Council's intricate web of control. Hidden archives, encrypted messages, and clandestine meetings painted a picture of a council that manipulated destinies, keeping the non-human races weak and divided. As they delved deeper, the gravity of their discovery weighed heavily upon them. The Shadow Council's reach was vast, and their methods were covert, leaving little evidence for outsiders to detect. Each revelation brought them closer to the heart of the Council's secrets but also heightened the danger lurking in the shadows. One fateful evening, While sifting through ancient tomes in a forgotten library, Aries and Blake encountered Nora, a mysterious entity composed entirely of living shadows. Her form was fluid and ever-changing, her presence both mesmerizing and unsettling. At first, Nora was elusive, her intentions unclear as she weaved in and out of visibility, leaving behind whispers of forgotten knowledge. Nora's existence was a paradox. She was both a creation of the Shadow Council's magic and an independent being with her own agenda. Through a series of cryptic interactions, Nora revealed that she possessed vital information about the Council's true power and vulnerabilities. Her knowledge of shadow magic was unparalleled, and her insights provided the key to understanding the Council's intricate defenses and hidden weaknesses. With Nora's guidance, Aries and Blake began to piece together the Council's grand design. They learned of ancient rituals, forbidden spells, and the Council's ultimate objective: to establish an unassailable dominion over all races by harnessing the primal forces of shadow magic. The Council's influence was not limited to Eldoria, it extended into the very fabric of the world, ensuring that any attempt to oppose them would be met with overwhelming force. As days turned into weeks, the alliance between Aries, Blake, and Nora solidified. They reached out to key figures from other races: elves, dwarves, and even some human dissidents, secretly forming a rebellion against the Council's control. Trust was hard-earned, but the revelation of the Council's manipulations drew powerful allies to their cause. Tensions within the alliance were high, as many had been oppressed by humans for centuries, harboring deep-seated resentments and fears. However, Aries' leadership and determination, coupled with Blake's insider knowledge and Nora's mystical insights, began to unite the disparate factions. Meanwhile, Victoria and the Shadow Council were not blind to the growing threat. They moved swiftly to crush any opposition, intensifying the use of shadow magic to sow fear and disarray among the ranks of the rebels. Victoria's mastery of shadow magic allowed her to manipulate perceptions, making allies appear as enemies and creating illusions that disoriented those who opposed her. The Council's methods were ruthless, and their influence seeped into every corner of Eldoria, ensuring that dissent was met with swift and severe consequences. The rebellion's first major challenge came when a key leader within the Dwarven faction was assassinated under mysterious circumstances. Suspicion and paranoia threatened to tear the fragile alliance apart. As accusations flew and alliances teetered on the brink of collapse, Aries, drawing upon her skills in investigation and diplomacy, worked tirelessly to uncover the truth behind the assassination. Her efforts revealed that Victoria herself had orchestrated the event, using her shadow magic to eliminate a potential threat and send a chilling message to the rebels. Undeterred by the Council's tactics, Aries and her allies pressed on, determined to dismantle the Shadow Council's grip on power. Nora revealed the Council's ultimate plan: to harness the energy of a shadow portal, an ancient gateway that drew upon the primal forces of darkness, allowing them to extend their control beyond Eldoria and into other realms. This portal was the source of the Council's immense power, and its destruction was the key to their downfall. As the rebellion gained momentum, the Council's desperation grew. Victoria intensified her efforts, deploying more shadow magic to undermine the rebels' efforts. The streets of Eldoria became battlegrounds where light clashed with darkness, and the very fabric of reality seemed to bend under the weight of the Council's magic. The rebels faced formidable challenges, including infiltrating the Council's hidden bases and disrupting their dark rituals, each victory a small step toward liberation. The final confrontation loomed on the horizon, a culmination of the rebellion's efforts and the Council's resistance. Aries, Blake, and Nora devised a daring plan to infiltrate the Shadow Council's stronghold, aiming to destroy the Shadow Portal and confront Victoria in her domain. The plan required precise coordination, unwavering courage, and the full cooperation of the allied races, each contributing their unique strengths to the mission. Under the cover of darkness, The rebels launched their assault on the council's headquarters. Shadows twisted and danced as the battle commenced, the air thick with the tension of impending conflict. Ares moved with the grace of a shadow herself, her senses heightened as she navigated the treacherous corridors of the stronghold. Blake led the charge, his battle-hardened skills cutting through the council's guards with ruthless efficiency. Nora, ever the enigmatic presence, manipulated the very shadows around them, creating pathways and distractions that aided their infiltration. As they reached the heart of the stronghold, the true extent of Victoria's power became apparent. The grand chamber, bathed in an oppressive darkness, was the epicenter of the shadow portal. The room thrummed with dark energy, the air heavy with the scent of ancient magic. Victoria awaited them, her presence commanding and unyielding, her eyes burning with determination and malice. The final showdown was a clash of titanic forces. Ares faced Victoria directly, her agility and intellect pitted against the formidable dark magic wielded by the council leader. Shadows swirled around them, morphing into weapons and barriers, each attack a test of wills and skill. Blake fought valiantly to protect Ares, his warrior instincts honed to perfection as he deflected attacks and countered with devastating strikes. Nora, true to her mysterious nature, disrupted the flow of shadow magic, weakening Victoria's defenses and providing openings for the rebels to exploit. The battle reached its zenith as Victoria, desperate to maintain her grip on power, unleashed the full might of the shadow portal. Dark energy surged through the chamber, threatening to engulf everything in its path. In a moment of clarity, Ares remembered Nora's revelation about the portal's vulnerability. With a decisive move, she targeted the portal, channeling her own magic to disrupt its connection to the shadow realm. The chamber shook as the portal began to collapse, the shadows recoiling in pain and confusion. Victoria, realizing her imminent defeat, attempted to flee, but the combined efforts of the rebels sealed her fate. With a final, desperate surge of dark magic, she was consumed by the very shadows she had once commanded, her reign of terror coming to an end. The shadow portal shattered, its energy dissipating into the night, severing the council's connection to the primal forces of darkness. As the dust settled and the oppressive darkness lifted, the rebels stood victorious. The Shadow Council's influence had been dismantled, and the balance of power began to shift. Eldoria, once under the subtle control of shadow magic, now breathed freely, the night sky clear and untainted by the Council's manipulation. In the aftermath, Ares was hailed as a hero, her leadership and bravery instrumental in the rebellion's success. She was appointed to lead a new coalition of races, guiding them toward a future of cooperation and mutual respect. Blake returned to his people with a newfound sense of purpose, his actions during the rebellion earning him redemption and honor. Nora, her mission complete, faded back into the shadows from which she had emerged, her existence a lingering mystery that left a lasting impression on those she had aided. The fall of the Shadow Council marked the beginning of a new era. The various races, once oppressed and divided, now stood united in their pursuit of peace and autonomy. The scars of past manipulations remained, but the hope for a harmonious future overshadowed the remnants of darkness that had once loomed over Eldoria. Ares, reflecting on the cost of victory, understood that true peace required vigilance and collaboration. The lessons learned from the rebellion served as a foundation for the new order, where shadows were no longer tools of oppression but reminders of the darkness that had been overcome. Under her guidance, Eldoria flourished, its people embracing the light while honoring the shadows that had once dictated their fates. As the sun rose over Eldoria, casting its golden rays upon the city, the memory of the Shadow Council became a testament to the resilience and unity of its inhabitants. The story of Ares, Blake, and Nora endured, inspiring future generations to stand against tyranny and strive for a world where all races could coexist in harmony, free from the shadows that had once sought to control them. Certainly, here is the continuation of the Shadow Council presented as a single, cohesive narrative suitable for an audiobook. I'll ensure the story flows naturally without chapter divisions, maintaining coherence and rich detail throughout. The first light of dawn began to pierce the darkness that had long enveloped Eldoria, casting a soft glow upon the city's awakening streets. The oppressive grip of the Shadow Council had been lifted, but the scars of their reign were still visible in the wary eyes of the populace and the remnants of shadow magic that lingered in hidden corners. Ares stood atop the highest tower of the newly established coalition headquarters, watching as the sun's rays illuminated the city she had fought so hard to liberate. Her thoughts drifted to the tumultuous nights that had led to this moment of the clandestine meetings, the battles fought in the shadows, and the unwavering support of her allies from various races. The journey had been fraught with danger and uncertainty, but the unity forged in those dark times now paved the way for a hopeful future. Ares took a deep breath, feeling the cool morning air fill her lungs, a stark contrast to the heavy, dark magic that once dominated Eldoria. Blake approached from behind, his armor gleaming in the early light. The once grizzled dwarf warrior now bore a sense of purpose and honor that had been absent during his time with the Shadow Council. His presence was a comforting reminder of the strength and resilience that had carried them through their darkest hours. Ares, Blake greeted, his voice steady and warm. The Council's forces are retreating. It's over. Ares turned to face him, a faint smile gracing her lips. Yes, it's finally over, but our work is just beginning. We need to ensure that the Shadow Council's influence never returns. Blake nodded, his eyes reflecting the determination that had always defined him. Agreed, we've dismantled their power structure, but rebuilding trust among the races will take time. As they spoke, the newly formed coalition members began to emerge from their hiding places, their faces a mix of relief and cautious optimism. Elves, dwarves, humans, and other races stood side by side, their differences now seen as strengths rather than divisions. Ares felt a surge of pride as she watched them interact, the bonds of camaraderie evident in their cooperative efforts to restore peace and order. Nora, the enigmatic shadow creature, lingered near the edge of the gathering. Her form shifted subtly, blending with the surrounding shadows yet remaining distinctly present. Ares approached her, recognizing the importance of their alliance and the invaluable knowledge Nora had provided throughout their quest. Nora, Ares greeted softly, your guidance was crucial. We couldn't have done this without you. Nora's form shimmered, her voice a melodic whisper that seemed to echo from all directions. I am grateful to have played a part in your victory. The shadows have a way of revealing truths that light often obscures. Ares nodded, understanding the depth of Nora's words. Now that the council is gone, what will become of you? Nora paused, her shadowy form undulating with a sense of contemplation. I belong to the shadows, but my purpose has been fulfilled. I will return to where I came from, but know that our paths may cross again should the need arise. With a graceful nod, Nora began to fade into the ambient darkness, leaving behind a lingering sense of mystery and gratitude. Ares watched her departure, feeling a bittersweet mixture of loss and hope. The alliance they had formed was strong, but the world still faced many challenges that required unity and vigilance. As the days turned into weeks, the coalition worked tirelessly to rebuild Eldoria. Infrastructure was restored, marketplaces buzzed with activity, and the once muted voices of the oppressed began to sing with newfound freedom. Ares took on the role of a leader with humility and wisdom, guiding her people and their allies toward a harmonious future. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, Ares stood before the council chamber. The room was adorned with symbols of Unija tapestry depicting intertwined hands of various races, each unique yet harmoniously connected. She addressed the assembled representatives, her voice resonating with conviction and hope. We have achieved what many thought impossible. The Shadow Council's reign has ended, and we stand together as equals, bound by our shared desire for peace and prosperity. Let us honor those who sacrificed so much by building a world where no one lives in fear of hidden darkness." Applause echoed through the chamber, the sound a testament to the collective effort and resilience of the coalition. Aries felt a profound sense of accomplishment, knowing that their sacrifices had not been in vain. The bonds forged in adversity had transformed into a foundation for lasting peace. However, amidst the celebrations, remnants of the Shadow Council's influence lingered in subtle ways. Small groups of loyalists, though weakened, still sought to undermine the fragile peace. Aries knew that true victory required not only the defeat of their leaders but also the healing of old wounds and the fostering of trust among all races. One such challenge arose when a series of unexplained disturbances began to occur in the outskirts of Eldoria. Crops withered overnight, water sources became tainted, and shadows seemed to move with a life of their own. Aries sensed the familiar pull of shadow magic, a reminder that the darkness they had fought so hard to eradicate still threatened to resurface. Determined to protect her people and maintain the harmony they had achieved, Aries assembled a team to investigate the disturbances. Blake, ever the steadfast warrior, volunteered to lead the search, his experience with the Shadow Council invaluable in identifying potential threats. Alongside him was Alara, a skilled elven mage whose mastery of light magic provided a necessary counterbalance to the lingering shadows. As they ventured into the affected regions, the landscape revealed signs of recent turmoil. Fields once lush and green were now barren, and the air carried an unsettling chill. The team moved cautiously, their senses alert to any signs of dark magic. It wasn't long before they encountered a group of displaced villagers, their eyes filled with fear and uncertainty. "Please," one of the villagers pleaded, "something dark has awakened in the forest, we don't know what to do." Blake stepped forward, his presence both reassuring and authoritative. "We're here to help. Can you tell us more about what you've seen?" The villagers described eerie phenomena: shadows that moved independently, strange whispers in the night, and an unnatural darkness that seemed to consume the very life around them. Aries listened intently, her mind racing to connect these events to the remnants of the Shadow Council's influence. As night fell, the team set up camp near the edge of the forest, the tension palpable in the crisp evening air. Aries couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, the shadows around them alive with a silent menace. Her thoughts wandered to Nora and the mysterious nature of shadow magic, how it could be both a tool of oppression and a force of nature with its own will. Determined to uncover the truth, Aries delved into her memories of Nora's revelations about the primal forces of shadow magic. She realized that the disturbances might not be the work of human loyalists but rather an awakening of the shadow realm itself, a natural imbalance triggered by the Council's extensive manipulation of dark forces. The following morning, the team ventured deeper into the forest, following the signs of recent disturbances. The once vibrant foliage now appeared dull and lifeless, the trees twisted and gnarled as if bearing the weight of unseen sorrows. As they progressed, the air grew thick with an oppressive darkness, the shadows clinging to them like an unwelcome shroud. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the depths of the forest, a shadowy entity that seemed to blend seamlessly with its surroundings. Its form was fluid and ever-changing, much like Nora's. But this presence lacked the enigmatic grace. Instead, it exuded a sense of anger and desperation, the embodiment of the forest anguish. "Who are you?" Aries demanded, her voice steady despite the rising tension. The entity's voice was a hollow echo, resonating with the pain of the shadows. "I am the spirit of the forest, corrupted by the misuse of shadow magic. The Council's experiments have destabilized the natural balance, and now the shadows seek vengeance." Alara stepped forward, her hands glowing with light magic as she attempted to communicate with the entity. "There must be a way to restore the balance. What can we do to help?" The spirit's form flickered, its essence wavering between anger and sorrow. "You must cleanse the corruption at its source. Deep within the forest lies an ancient shrine, a nexus of shadow and light. Restore its harmony, and the shadows will return to their rightful place." Understanding the gravity of the situation, Aries nodded. "We will do whatever it takes to restore balance and protect Eldoria." The team pressed on, guided by the spirit's instructions. The journey to the ancient shrine was fraught with challenges, each step testing their resolve and unity. The corruption had twisted the forest into a labyrinth of darkness, making every path uncertain and perilous. Shadows seemed to reach out, attempting to ensnare them, while the oppressive atmosphere weighed heavily on their spirits. As they neared the shrine, the air grew colder, and the darkness more palpable. The structure itself was a marvel of ancient architecture, a harmonious blend of natural elements and mystical symbols that spoke of a time when shadow and light coexisted in equilibrium. The shrine stood as a testament to the delicate balance that must be maintained to ensure the harmony of the natural world. Aries approached the shrine, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and determination. She extended her hand, feeling the residual energy of shadow magic that still clung to the site. With Alara's guidance, she began the delicate process of restoring the shrine's harmony, weaving together strands of light and shadow in a harmonious dance. Blake stood guard, his keen eyes scanning the surroundings for any signs of lingering corruption. The oppressive darkness seemed to resist their efforts, the shadows swirling in a chaotic frenzy as if battling against the restoration of balance. Aries focused her energy, channeling her innate connection to the natural magic of the elves and the lessons learned from Nora. Gradually, the shrine began to respond, the chaotic shadows coming as the light magic took hold. The balance was being restored, the ancient nexus of power reclaiming its rightful place. A wave of serenity washed over the forest, the oppressive darkness lifting as the shadows retreated to their natural state. As the final strands of light intertwined with the shadows, the shrine glowed with a radiant energy, signifying the successful restoration of balance. The spirit of the forest appeared once more, its form now more peaceful and harmonious. "Thank you," the spirit intoned, its voice carrying a sense of genuine gratitude. "You have restored what was lost. The forest and its shadows are once again in balance." Aries smiled, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. "We're glad to have been of help. May the harmony we've restored bring peace to Eldoria and all its inhabitants." With their mission complete, the team made their way back to Eldoria, the forest now a symbol of resilience and the enduring quest for balance. The disturbances ceased, and life began to flourish once more, the natural magic of the land reclaiming its rightful place without the taint of corruption. Back in the city, Aries addressed the coalition once again, her voice filled with hope and determination. "Today, we have not only dismantled the Shadow Council but also restored the natural balance that ensures the prosperity of Eldoria. Our journey doesn't end here. We must remain vigilant, continuing to protect our world from any threats that seek to disrupt our harmony." Blake stood beside her, a testament to the strength that unity brings. "We've faced darkness together and emerged stronger. Let's carry that strength forward, ensuring that Eldoria remains a beacon of peace and cooperation for all races." As the coalition members dispersed to attend to their respective duties, Aries felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. The battles fought and the alliances forged had created a foundation for a brighter future, one where light and shadow coexisted in harmony rather than in opposition. Months passed, and Eldoria flourished under the new coalition's guidance. Trade routes thrived, cultural exchanges blossomed, and the once divided races now worked together toward common goals. The memory of the Shadow Council faded, replaced by stories of unity and resilience that inspired future generations. One evening, as Aries walked through the vibrant marketplace, she was approached by a young elf eager to hear tales of the rebellion. His eyes sparkled with curiosity and admiration, a reflection of the hope that had driven her throughout her journey. "Miss Aries," he began, "can you tell me about the time when the Shadow Council was defeated? How did you find the courage to lead us through such darkness?" Aries knelt to meet his gaze, her heart warmed by his genuine interest. "It wasn't just me," she replied softly. We all had to find the strength within ourselves and each other. It was our unity, our willingness to stand together despite our differences, that ultimately brought an end to their reign. Remember, no matter how dark things may seem, there's always hope as long as we stand together. The boy smiled, inspired by her words. Thank you. I hope to make a difference just like you did. Aries ruffled his hair affectionately. You will. Each of us has the power to shape our world for the better. Never underestimate the strength of your heart and the importance of working together. As she continued her stroll through the bustling market, Aries reflected on the journey that had brought her to this moment. The battles, the alliances, the losses, and the victories had all contributed to the person she had become, a leader dedicated to fostering peace and unity among all races. The lessons learned from the shadows had illuminated the path forward, guiding her and her people toward a future where harmony and cooperation reigned supreme. One crisp autumn morning, as golden leaves danced in the gentle breeze, Aries received a summons to the coalition's council chamber. The room, adorned with symbols of unity and the restored ancient shrines motifs, buzzed with anticipation. Representatives from all races had gathered, their faces reflecting a mixture of pride and determination. Aries, the head of the council, a wise elder elf named Thalion, began, "We have achieved much, but there is still work to be done. Reports indicate that isolated pockets of shadow magic still linger, remnants of the Shadow Council's experiments. We must continue our efforts to cleanse and protect our world from any residual darkness." Aries nodded, understanding the ongoing responsibility that came with their victory. "We've made significant progress, but we must remain vigilant. I propose establishing dedicated teams to monitor and address any future disturbances, ensuring that the balance we've worked so hard to achieve remains intact." Thalion agreed, his eyes gleaming with approval. "A wise suggestion. Let us formalize this structure, assigning skilled individuals from each race to lead these efforts. Unity will be our strength in maintaining peace." The council members discussed and agreed upon the formation of these specialized teams, each equipped to handle specific threats and maintain the harmony of Eldoria. The decision reinforced the coalition's commitment to ongoing collaboration and mutual support, ensuring that no single race would bear the burden alone. As the meeting concluded, Aries felt a renewed sense of purpose. The path ahead was clear, and the foundation they had built provided the stability needed to navigate future challenges. She looked around the chamber, seeing the faces of those who had stood by her through thick and thin, their shared experiences forging bonds that would last a lifetime. Days turned into months, and Eldoria continued to thrive under the coalition's leadership. Cultural festivals celebrated the diverse heritages, marketplaces buzzed with the exchange of goods and ideas, and the once muted voices of the oppressed now sang with freedom and joy. The memory of the Shadow Council became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the importance of vigilance and unity in the face of adversity. One evening, as twilight descended upon the city, Aries found herself atop the same tower where she had first watched over Eldoria's dawn. The skyline, now a blend of ancient architecture and modern developments, stood as a testament to the progress they had made. The air was filled with the sounds of distant celebrations, a symphony of laughter and music that echoed through the streets. Lost in her thoughts, Aries contemplated the journey that had brought her here. The struggles, the sacrifices, and the unwavering support of her allies had transformed her from a dedicated detective into a respected leader. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for those who had fought alongside her, especially Blake and Nora, whose contributions had been instrumental in their success. As she gazed out over the city, a soft glow began to emanate from the horizon. The first stars of the night began to twinkle in the clear sky, their light a beacon of hope and continuity. Aries realized that their victory was not just a moment in time but the beginning of a legacy that would inspire future generations to uphold the values of unity and peace. Suddenly, a familiar shadow flitted across her peripheral vision, a subtle reminder that shadows still existed, not as tools of oppression but as natural elements of the world. Aries smiled, understanding that balance was an ever-present aspect of life, and it was their duty to maintain it. With a sense of fulfillment, Aries descended the tower, rejoining the vibrant life of Eldoria below. The city, once shrouded in fear and darkness, now thrived under the light of collaboration and mutual respect. The story of the Shadow Council had transformed into a narrative of resilience and hope, a testament to what could be achieved when diverse races came together with a common purpose. In the years that followed, Eldoria became a model of peace and cooperation, its influence extending beyond its borders as other regions sought to emulate their success. The coalition continued to evolve, adapting to new challenges and embracing the strengths of each race. Aries remained at the forefront, her leadership guiding the coalition through times of prosperity and adversity alike. One winter night, as snowflakes gently fell upon the city, Aries received a message from a distant land, a plea for assistance in dealing with the resurgence of dark magic threatening their harmony. Without hesitation, she gathered her trusted allies and set forth on a new journey, embodying the spirit of the coalition and the enduring legacy of their victory over the Shadow Council. As Eldoria's champions ventured into unknown territories, their hearts remained steadfast, fueled by the lessons of the past and the unwavering belief in a united future. The shadows that once sought to divide them had been transformed into a force for balance and understanding, ensuring that light and darkness coexisted in harmony rather than conflict. Aries looked back one last time at the city that had been her home and her battleground, knowing that wherever shadows lingered, there would always be those willing to stand against them, guided by the principles of unity, courage, and hope. The story of Eldoria and its champions became a beacon of inspiration, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the light of cooperation and mutual respect could illuminate the path to a brighter tomorrow.